Good evening, everybody. My name's Daniel Miles. Today is October the 15th, 2014, and this is the fourth installment of Digital Zen, Musings of the Inquisitive. Now, this has been the first time in 10 months that I've posted anything. I knew I had been gone for a while, but I went back right before I started, and I looked at my other videos, and the last one was dated 12/9/13. That's December the 9th, 2013. You could say I've fallen off the wagon a little bit, but not to worry. We're back, and we're ready to rock. So, obviously, a lot has happened in 10 months. I have gone through one of the bigger changes in life from high school to college. I'm down here in the College of Charleston, South Carolina. I've pretty much, since today is the 15th of October, I've officially been here at the college for 2 months and 1 day. So, it's been an experience. That's what I want to talk about today. College. College has been a roller coaster of sorts. I remember back when I was doing the application process, how goddamn stressful it was. Let's see, there was the SATs, and then there was getting grades from the high school and sending them to all different places. I applied to like 6 different places, and finally ended up here at the college, and I have mixed emotions about it. Back in high school, I had a really, really close group of friends. Some of us had known each other since we were like preschoolers, and to depart from everybody was unfortunately tough. And we all spread out. We spread out across 3 different states. I went down to South Carolina. One of my friends went up to Virginia Tech, or 2 of my friends actually went up to Virginia Tech. And then everyone spread out to different places in North Carolina, Wilmington, Greensboro, Boone, Chapel Hill, Raleigh, everywhere. We've done an okay job of sticking together. We all got together when I was home a couple weekends ago. And it was really nice to see everybody, but it also really reminded me of how different everything is at college. I thought I was going to have a lot easier time getting to know people and making friends than I actually have. It's not like I'm not making friends, or not going out and not doing anything like that. At college, and Charleston's good for this. Like you don't need to really like plan to go out. Like you can just walk down George or King or one of the big streets down here, and you'll find something to do. You'll find a party. But I've definitely felt sometimes a little lonely, sometimes a little lost. Since my old friend group really took up most of my time, and I'm not much of a partier or anything like that. Not having anyone to kind of just hang out with and just kind of talk about, or just talk with, chill out. I especially miss just kind of getting together and talking about politics and the big questions and stuff like that. That's one of the big downers of college. I know it's I don't know. Hopefully I'll have this problem solved at some point. But I just felt kind of lonely, kind of lost. Not the entire time, but just especially recently. And that's not to say that's been the sum of my college experience. My college experience has been great. I've met a lot of really, really interesting people. It's just that I haven't quite established the same sort of friend group that I had back in high school. I'm taking really interesting classes, whereas I'm just kind of like, I'm excited to get up and go to class, where in high school, at least for most of them, I was just kind of dragging myself through the day. I actually got an internship with a political campaign. It's a South Carolina House of Representatives seat. Her name's Vita Miller. She's a really, really nice lady, actually. I got to meet her on one of my first weekends as an intern. It's the kind of thing that I can put on a resume. So having that right out of the gate as a freshman, as a first semester freshman in college, that was an incredibly lucky break. I joined a lot of different clubs on campus. The most notable being Young Americans for Liberty. Obviously, they're a politically minded group. I got to, oh my Jesus Christ. Yeah, so they're politically minded, and I met a couple of guys actually that I really hope I can become closer friends with in the upcoming future. But I haven't spent a lot of time with this other group I'm about to mention, but they took me on one of the most marvelous trips of my life. They're called Students for Sensible Drug Policy. If you're seeing a trend here, you've noticed that I've been joining a lot of politically minded groups. So obviously, this group, Students for Sensible Drug Policy, is advocating for more practical and sensible drug policy to be enacted in the United States and across the world. So the SSDP is a global thing, and they had an international conference in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and I went with them. It was me and 8 other people, and we got to spend the whole weekend, Friday night to Sunday night, yeah, Friday night to Sunday night, just talking with all these different people from across the country. We met a guy named Elijah Ullman, who we were hanging out with for a while. He's from Colorado. He was a really cool guy. We got to talk with people from Arizona and Colorado and California, other people in South Carolina that, we would have never otherwise met. I remember talking with some people from University of New Hampshire, and we got enough time to have pretty much a whole afternoon to just romp through downtown D.C. And, I have pretty much made the decision, and it's not only because I love the city a lot, but I got a lot of time to think on that trip, especially because on Sunday night, we drove through the night from 12 midnight to about, I think it was 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. We had to drive through the night from D.C. all the way back to Charleston. So I needless to say, since I wasn't sleeping, I had a lot of time to think. And I've made the decision, and this is going to seem weird just coming out of nowhere since I really haven't spoken about 10 months, or 8 months. I've made the decision that I'm going to be the President of the United States one day. And I kind of, do those little fancy eye movements and whatnot, but I'm entirely confident in that decision. That's not messing around at all. That's entirely serious. I will be the President of the United States one day. But that was the result of that weekend. Obviously that was the end result of a gradual series of changes. I knew going into college that I wanted to study political science and philosophy. That's pretty much where I'll be going now. I just haven't declared yet. I then made the decision a little bit later, after I had spent some time in, the actual political climate talking to, actual candidates for actual seats of government and to different advocacy groups and special interest groups that I want to go into politics. It had always been a pipe dream, but that was, it's been over the last couple months, specifically the last 2 since I've gotten to college, that I know that I want to go into politics. So I don't have the exact set plan of how it's going to happen yet, but I made the final decision where I actually said it and meant it over that weekend that I'm going to be the President of the United States of America one day. So to people of my age, or people who will be alive in about 2048 to 2052, Daniel Miles, 2048. So, Yeah, but that weekend, we got, especially that afternoon, just going through downtown, because the actual conference was in Arlington. It's like a 10-minute metro ride into the heart of the city. It was so beautiful. We got to go to the Smithsonian of Natural History and the Smithsonian of American Art and the Portrait Gallery. And those are usually things where I would be like, I do not want to do this. This sounds really boring. But the other people there with me roped me into it, and it was awesome. We went to those three museums. We were walking around that night before we left, and we got to go to a drum circle, which was awesome. You know, I got a couple of friends who went to some pretty hippie liberal colleges, App State and UNC Asheville. I'm talking to you. um, and I had always kind of laughed at the theory of a drum circle, but it is awesome. I just pictured that it would be a bunch of people sitting in a circle just kind of playing drums or whatever, but no. I kind of walked up. It was over this overview of kind of like a little hilly meadow kind of deal, but it's like right in the middle of a city. And you could either do it was literally just a bunch of people with different instruments of percussion coming together, playing their own particular instrument, but it all worked out that everyone just got onto the same beat. And there were people dancing and laughing, and you could see couples kissing and all that fun stuff. And it was absolutely beautiful. I remember I was kind of sitting on a little column kind of thing, just kind of looking on everything. And if I focused on one person playing one instrument, then you could kind of single out their beat, but then if you kind of like just open your head and, you know, put everyone else's instrument or the whole situation in the context, you could see how that particular instrument was distinct, but also a part of a group at the same time. And I thought that was really, really cool. So, I will never ever make fun of drum circles again, because they were awesome. Okay, so that was, alright, so Young Americans for Liberty, Students for Sensible Drug Policy. Oh yeah, well, part of Young Americans for Liberty is they're kind of partnered with a bigger group called Students for Liberty. I'll be going to Atlanta this weekend for a Students for Liberty conference, and you know, I'm trying to get an internship for this summer. So networking and getting my name out there always helps. I got a couple like pseudo offers from different people at the SSDP conference in DC. But, you know, Students for Liberty, I think, is my opportunity. It's my big break. Like, it's my opportunity to get, like, my foot in the door into doing actual political things, and it's really exciting. And part of the thing that I forget just because of the way things have been going recently, college is just really exciting. There's just an opportunity to do so many things that you feel like actually have an impact on the world, or at least the community in some way. In high school, like, you know, I feel like they try and get you like getting ready for that sort of thing and have you doing a lot of smaller things, and you never really, like, you kind of do it half-heartedly because it doesn't feel like it has any real impact on the world. But in college, you know, you're out doing things. You're out doing things that actually matter and will have real and solid consequences. That's the flip side of it. You know, with my internship, you know, I'm knocking on doors and making phone calls and stuff like that, and to be actually out there advocating for my views, it's exciting. It really is. And I kind of lost that wonder over the last couple weeks, just because how things have been going. And I just really remembered it now, but it's awesome. College also has the potential to corrupt, I think. The first couple weeks here were the craziest things I've ever done in my life. I'm not saying it online because, oh God, if I ever run for office and somehow people get a hold of that, oh man, no sir, no. But needless to say, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Um, but reality kind of set in when classes started and when they kind of started zoning up and going up and everything. And I adjusted. I'm actually been doing remarkably well for I'm not. It's like not I'm surprised. Like, oh my god, I'm actually doing good in school. But it's just like I'm actually doing really well in my classes. I'm really proud of myself. Um, so college, in a way, college has been the most hands down interesting part of my life. And I've only been here for 2 months, so I can't even imagine what the rest of the time. I mean, I still got like 3 3/4 years to go. So I can't even imagine what the rest of the time is going to be like. Um, Hopefully one day in 2048 or 2052, when I'm taking my oath of office into the White House, I'll get some free time from running the most powerful country in the free world, and I'll get to take back what's today, the 15th of October in 2014, and I'll get to say, oh, there it was. That was the first time. So yeah. As exciting and fun as college has been, and how interesting and all that fun stuff, I do really miss my old friends. Um, I do really miss not my old. I do really miss my family. I really miss a lot of the people that I met. My old teachers, just people that you get used to seeing when you're there, and then you don't anymore. It's a big change, but oh, well, that was Jay. He's shirtless. He's one of my sweet mates. Um, and kind of cut off the emotional part of the video. But all right, well, I'll leave you with a recommendation. It's an album that was actually just recommended to me today, and I got the time to sit down and watch, or sit down and listen to it. It's called Fear Fun by Father John Miller. It's called Fear Fun by Father John Miller. And a movie recommendation, since I've gotten really into films recently, and I'll talk about that later. Or maybe on another video, because it's getting long. The movie Good Morning Vietnam. So I'll leave you with those two recommendations. The album Fear Fun by Father John Miller, and the movie Good Morning Vietnam, starring Robin Williams. So, my first video in 10 months. 10 months? 10 months. My first video in 10 months. It was great to be back, and to everyone who I have not met, hello, and to everyone that I have, I miss you, and this is Daniel Miles signing off for DigitalZen.tv, Musings of the Inquisitive.